Morning, everybody. It's Monday morning. It's 14th of November. It's the week after the U.S. elections. The futures are up a lot over here in Europe. It had a bit of a shaky end to the week. We'll take a quick look at the FTSE, how that finished off. It sold off quite sharply right towards the end of the week. There's gilts are under a bit of pressure, and the pound strengthened a lot. Over here, and that seemed to take quite a bit back out the shares. Things like particularly the really sort of high grade UK stocks, Diageo, National Grid, United Utilities, Astra. Those sort of stocks were down a lot at the end of last week, as there seemed to be a rotation away from shares and back into the bonds a little bit. But it looks at the moment, the way things are shaping up and they're about to open, that the money could go back into the shares a bit today. So we looked at this pattern: left shoulder, head. I don't know, possibly a right shoulder. We'll have to see. But I mean, if this neckline holds, then it could just become sort of a really more of a trend line, and the markets may look for a move higher. We'll have to see how this week plays out as we're just opening. In terms of things to watch, I mean, the banking shares had a really sort of strong week last week. The yield curves are starting to steepen, which is obviously good for the banks. They're going to be sort of more incentivized to lend money again. It's going to improve their net interest margin. I'll take a quick look at Lloyd's. This is one I just traded last week. It's this falling wedge. It broke out. I mean, really got to see the 200-day moving average just over 61 pence. So if this is going to be some sort of reversal and a new trend starting, then we're going to need to see a nice break above the 200-day for me. The other one I have been looking at, I haven't traded this one, is Barclays, which has broken the 50-day across the 200. And it's had a nice breakout here, so I may look at trading Barclays at some point. If this, this sort of channel or whatever is the start of a new trend, I'm going to wait for a pullback, but I may look to start trading Barclays as well pretty soon. I mean, last week even Deutsche Bank recovered to nearly 15 euros, so I mean that's been under a lot of pressure recently. So I think in terms of a sort of growing trend, I'm going to really focus on the banks. I'm going to have a look at some of the US banks later today. I think there could be some value in those shares if the market's anticipating that at some point in the not too distant future we're going to get back to a more normalized rate of interest. Quick look at the US. The US stayed pretty strong last week. It didn't really sell off at all like we did into Thursday, Friday. This is the S&P. I mean, it respected the 200-day perfectly down here. It's a little bit messy. Futures are up a lot this morning, so we'll wait and see what happens this afternoon. I mean, it almost looks as though, the talk of the election didn't really do too much to the markets, and I think it may be a little bit of a case of it's now yesterday's news, and really what the market's looking ahead to, is going to be the December Fed meeting, and if they, the market's really going to look to see if they're going to hike rates or not. I think the expectation is they probably will. If you're looking at gold, I think that's a good proxy, and then that's sold off a lot. That's down $100 since last Wednesday morning. It's down at just over 12.20 now, so that could be gold seems to think they're going to hike rates in December. So we shall see, and I think that's the next thing the markets are going to look for. Also, just the seasonality. You tend to get a little sort of Santa rally this time of year. Back to the FTSE. I mean, this may be it. This may have been the last sort of genuine pullback down to this line. That might be it for the year. And it may, as volumes drop off towards the end of the year, it may get massaged up and up to make the end of year figures, I suppose, look better for the funds, etc. So yeah, we'll see what happens for the rest of the day, and good luck with the trading.